Love doesn't hide, and the truth that God is bringing into your life right now is not coming to hurt you but to free you. There are moments when the soul senses something long before the mind understands it, when your heart feels a shift before any visible sign appears. You've been feeling that inner pull, that quiet stirring telling you that something is being revealed, something is being uncovered, something is being exposed, not to break you, but to show you what has been standing in the shadows of your peace. You've been questioning why she is still there, why her presence lingers even when you feel that God meant something greater for you, even when you feel chosen, even when you feel seen. And now God is speaking into this exact area of your life, because He knows the questions you've whispered in silence, He knows the ache you've tried to hide, and He knows how long you've carried something that was never your burden. God sees the confusion in your heart. You care deeply, you love sincerely, and you've been asking Him if you're wrong for feeling what you feel. But you're not wrong. Your heart has discerned something real. You've sensed that her presence has been a distraction, a lesson, a delay, or even a test, not for you, but for Him. And God is showing you now that sometimes He allows certain people to remain in the picture not because they belong there, but because there is something inside them that must first be brought into the light. You've wondered why she hasn't left yet, why certain situations still haven't shifted, why the story has felt stuck. But God is exposing the reason, and He is doing it gently, slowly, piece by piece, because your heart deserves clarity without pain, freedom without fear, truth without damage. There are moments when God delays the removal of a person because that person is revealing the truth of someone else's heart. Sometimes God keeps someone in the frame to expose loyalty, character, intention, and sincerity. You may think it's about her, but it's not. It's about what her presence is revealing. God is showing you who is choosing what, who is still tied to old patterns, who is still attached to comfort instead of growth. Who is afraid to release familiar bonds, who is not ready for the depth of the love they claim to desire. God is exposing motives, not to shame anyone, but to show you who can walk with you into your destiny and who cannot. He is exposing decisions, not to hurt you, but to protect you. He is exposing truth, not to break your heart, but to prevent your heart from being broken later. You've been patient, more patient than people realize. You've allowed time, you've waited quietly, you've hoped that things would naturally shift. You've believed that what is meant for you cannot be taken from you. And that belief is correct, but sometimes God allows you to see the truth of people so that you won't cling to what is not built on honesty or purity. God knows the difference between someone who loves you and someone who simply doesn't want to lose you. He knows the difference between someone who chooses you and someone who keeps you close while still holding on to another option. And God is exposing this not to punish anyone, but to guide you into the clarity you need for the life He prepared for you. There's a reason you've been uncomfortable lately. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because your spirit is picking up that a shift is coming. God is stirring things. He is causing what has been hidden to surface. He is exposing what has been spoken behind closed doors. He is revealing intentions, exposing manipulation, highlighting emotional immaturity, bringing to light anything that does not align with the love He has for you. When God exposes, it's because He loves you enough to protect you from walking blindly into something that would eventually drain you. When God reveals, it's because He knows you deserve a love that is whole, not divided, not distracted, not torn, not unsure. Love doesn't hide. Love doesn't stay in the shadows. Love doesn't need time to choose. Love doesn't keep another person as emotional backup. Love doesn't run back and forth. Love doesn't pretend. And love doesn't require God to expose anything, because real love is already transparent. So if God is exposing something right now, it means that the love you thought was solid may have cracks, and He is showing you the cracks so that you don't build a foundation on anything that will collapse later. God is revealing why she is still there because her presence is revealing His heart. Her presence is revealing His decisions. Her presence is revealing what He truly values. Her presence is revealing whether He is ready for someone like you or not. You have been faithful through confusion. You have kept your heart pure when you could have closed it. You have prayed instead of panicking. You have trusted instead of reacting. You have waited instead of chasing. You have surrendered instead of forcing. These things matter to God. They matter deeply. And because you have handled this with grace, God is now giving you clarity. He is showing you what is real and what is not. He is showing you who is aligned with your spirit and who is aligned with their fear. He is showing you the truth so that when He blesses you, you won't have doubts. When He brings the right person, you won't question it. When He opens the door to the love you truly deserve, you won't compare it to anything that came before. Sometimes God reveals truth not to end something but to transform it. And sometimes God reveals truth to protect you from something that looks like love but isn't prepared to love you fully. Not every exposure is a goodbye. Sometimes it is a turning point. Sometimes the exposure is for him, to wake him up, to help him grow, to push him to choose, to break him out of patterns he has carried for years. Sometimes the exposure is for you, to strengthen your discernment, to remind you of your worth, to help you see the spiritual dynamics at play. And sometimes the exposure is for both of you, to bring you into alignment with what God wants you to have, not what emotions or habits have held on to. God is making you aware of everything that was unclear. He is bringing it into the light so that you can finally rest. You have lost enough sleep. You have worried enough. You have replayed conversations enough. You have wondered what her presence means for too long. Now God is showing you exactly why she is still there. It's not because you are lacking anything. It's not because she is more valuable. It's not because she is better. It's not because you are unseen. The truth is that God is exposing the areas in him that are still unhealed, unfinished, or unsure. She is a mirror of the parts of him that have not matured yet. She represents comfort, familiarity, emotional history, or fear of change. And God is making this clear because He wants you to see that His delay is not about your worth but about His readiness. You are entering a season where honesty is becoming unavoidable. You are stepping into a time when God is refusing to let you be confused anymore. The things that once felt complicated will become simple. The things that once felt hidden will become obvious. The things that once felt tangled will unravel. God is not punishing you, He is preparing you. He is not withholding, He is aligning. He is not delaying, He is protecting. You have a destiny that requires clarity, not chaos. You have a purpose that requires partnership, not uncertainty. You have a calling that requires a heart that is free, not entangled in someone else's indecision. There is a love meant for you that will not hesitate, that will not waver, that will not keep you waiting in confusion. There is a person meant for you whose heart will be fully open, whose intentions will be pure, whose loyalty will be unquestionable. And God is making room for that love by exposing what does not match it. You may feel loss in the process, but what you are losing is confusion, not blessing. What you are losing is uncertainty, not love. What you are losing is emotional imbalance, not emotional fulfillment. You have prayed for truth, and now truth is arriving. You have prayed for clarity, and now clarity is unfolding. You have prayed for peace, and now peace is being formed through revelation. It may not look the way you expected, but it is exactly what your heart needs. Nothing that belongs to you will ever require manipulation or competition. Nothing that is yours will ever make you feel like you must fight for a place in someone's life. Nothing that God ordained for you will come with hidden shadows. If she is still there, it is because God is allowing her presence to reveal what needs to be seen. And once the truth has served its purpose, once the exposure is complete, once the lesson is clear, God will remove what is no longer needed. You're not losing anything. You're gaining understanding. You're gaining strength. You're gaining spiritual maturity. You're gaining the ability to discern real love from emotional dependence. You're gaining clarity that will carry you into a future where love is honest, mutual, unwavering, and God-aligned. What God is revealing right now is not meant to break your heart, it's meant to protect your future. And when God protects your future, He does so with precision. There comes a moment in every journey where God begins to separate what is temporary from what is eternal, what is convenient from what is true, what is familiar from what is aligned. You are standing at that moment now, and even though your heart may feel the weight of it, your spirit knows this is necessary. God is exposing why she is still there because He is preparing you for a love that will not come with hidden corners or half-open doors. He is showing you that the presence of another woman is not always competition, it can be confirmation. Confirmation that he has healing left to do. Confirmation that his loyalty is still divided. Confirmation that his emotional maturity is still growing. Confirmation that you deserve more clarity than he is offering. God is allowing you to see this so that you do not invest your future in someone who is still wrestling with their past. Your heart has been patient, but your patience was never meant to replace God's truth. You have given grace, and God honors that, but grace does not mean tolerating confusion. Grace does not mean accepting emotional chaos. Grace does not mean allowing yourself to be placed in a position where you must wonder whether you are chosen. God is removing that wondering spirit from you. He is taking away the uncertainty you've lived with quietly. He is replacing questions with answers, doubt with clarity, and fear with peace. You will understand soon that the exposure happening now is an act of divine love toward you. There is a version of you that God is calling forward, one who is stronger, wiser, more discerning, and more aware of your own worth. This version of you cannot settle for being one of many options in someone's life. This version of you cannot shrink to fit a story God never wrote. This version of you cannot lower your value to match someone's indecision. You are being elevated internally before your life elevates externally. That is why this exposure is happening. God is making you see the truth so that you can rise from it. She is still there because her presence is illuminating something God doesn't want you to miss. Not every presence is a threat, some are revelations. Some people appear or remain in the picture because they reflect what someone else refuses to let go of. They reveal emotional ties that were never properly severed. They reveal wounds that were never healed. They reveal patterns someone has not yet outgrown. And God is showing you all of this so that you do not mistake someone's potential for someone's readiness. Potential may look beautiful, but readiness is what builds real love. You have prayed for a partner, not a project. God knows the difference. God knows you are not meant to be someone's emotional repair center. You are not meant to wait for someone to choose you while they cling to what they're afraid to release. You're not meant to stand at the doorway of someone's indecision hoping they will open their eyes. God wants you loved by someone who is already healed enough to be fully present, fully committed, fully clear. And if that person is him, then this exposure will transform him. If he is the one God has chosen for you, he will confront what is being revealed, he will release what needs to be let go, he will choose honesty over fear. But if he is not willing to embrace what the truth demands, then God will not allow you to be bound to someone who cannot meet you where you stand. You are entering a season where God is removing every shadow from your relationships. You will not have to wonder. You will not have to guess. You will not have to compete. You will not have to question your place. You will not have to monitor someone's behavior out of fear. You will not live with the weight of what if resting on your heart. God loves you too much to let you build your life on uncertainty. This exposure is an act of cleansing. God is cleansing the path before you. He is removing emotional fog from your eyes. He is filtering out distractions from your spirit. He is softening your heart while strengthening your mind. He is shaping you into someone who cannot be fooled by sweet words without consistent actions. He is making you spiritually sensitive to what does not align with His plan for you. And because of this, you will not be able to tolerate the things you once tolerated. You will not be able to overlook the things you once excused. You will not be able to settle for half-hearted love. You will crave honesty. You will crave clarity. You will crave peace. And God will give it to you. You may not realize it yet, but this exposure is freeing you from a future heartbreak. God saw the emotional storms ahead, and He chose to stop them now. He saw the moments where you would have poured yourself into someone who wasn't prepared to reciprocate with the same depth, and He chose to block it now. He saw the patterns in him that could have drained you, and He chose to uncover them now so that you can make decisions from a place of truth instead of attachment. You may feel disappointment, but the truth is that God is preventing devastation. Everything happening now is preparing you for a love that will feel like rest, not turmoil. A love that will feel like home, not confusion. A love that will feel like certainty, not guessing. A love that will feel like God's hand, not emotional chaos. She is still there because God is letting the contrast teach you something important. You are not meant to be a secret. You are not meant to be a second thought. You are not meant to share space with someone else in a man's heart. You are not meant to be placed on pause. You are chosen, and chosen people are not placed in positions where they must compete for clarity. God is showing you this because He wants you to fully understand the level of love He is preparing for you, and He wants you to stop accepting anything less. You have been giving love with purity, but now God is teaching you to receive love with standards. He is teaching you that your heart is sacred and deserves protection. He is teaching you that the right person will remove all doubt simply by the way they show up. He is teaching you that real love will not require you to decipher someone's intentions. It will be spoken, shown, lived, and proven. You're stepping into a moment in your life where God is revealing the truth so clearly that you won't be able to ignore it anymore. The signs that once felt subtle are now becoming louder, sharper, undeniable. The feelings you tried to brush aside are rising to the surface because God is insisting that you see what He sees. You may not realize it, but your spirit has been preparing for this revelation for a long time. You've been feeling that something was shifting, something was about to be uncovered, something was no longer able to stay hidden. And God is saying that now is the moment for clarity. Now is the moment when every hidden intention, every silent hesitation, every emotional attachment that has been lingering in the background comes into full view. She is still there because God is using her presence to reveal what the relationship truly is, not what it could be, not what you hoped it would become, but what it actually is today. Your heart has been wrapped in possibilities, in potential, in the idea of what this connection could grow into. But God is grounding you in the present moment, teaching you to see reality without the lens of emotional hope, showing you who He is right now, not the version He may become someday. God is not trying to hurt you by showing you this truth. He is trying to save you from waiting on someone who isn't fully stepping into the version that you truly deserve. The truth is, attachment can sometimes feel like love. And familiarity can feel like destiny. But God separates the two so clearly, especially in times like this. Attachment makes you hold on to someone because of what you've shared. Destiny makes you hold on to someone because of what God has aligned. And God wants to show you the difference. She is still there because she represents what He has not outgrown yet. She represents a chapter He hasn't closed, a bond He hasn't resolved, a pattern He hasn't healed, or a comfort He hasn't been able to release. And God is allowing this to remain visible so that you never confuse His hesitation with your worth. You have been asking for truth, and God is honoring your request. He is showing you the emotional landscape behind the scenes so that you do not build your future on assumptions. God is letting you see the choices that are being made when no one is watching. He is revealing who is truly invested, who is truly ready, who is truly committed, and who is simply afraid of letting go of the past. Her presence is a reflection of His internal struggle, not a reflection of anything you lack. You must remember that. You must understand that your value does not diminish because someone else cannot choose clearly. Your worth is not tied to His confusion. Your strength is not dependent on His growth. You are whole, even in seasons where others are fragmented. This exposure is not just about them, it is about you. God is elevating your discernment. He is raising your standards. He is awakening your intuition. He is strengthening your boundaries. He is teaching you that your heart is precious, and that giving it to someone who is emotionally divided is not love, it is sacrifice. And God has not called you to emotional sacrifice, He has called you to emotional alignment. You were made to walk beside someone whose heart is fully present, fully devoted, fully clear. You were not created to exist in someone's emotional waiting room while they decide what they want. You may feel moments of sadness or confusion as God reveals this truth, but what you feel is not heartbreak, it is cleansing. It is God purifying your understanding so that only truth remains. It is God removing illusions. It is God wiping away the parts of your perspective that were clouded by hope, longing, or silence. He is doing this gently, but firmly, because He knows that your future requires clarity. He knows the kind of love He has prepared for you, and He will not allow you to settle for anything less than what reflects His heart for you. God is saying that the hesitation you have been feeling from Him is not random. It is not your imagination. It is not something you made up. It is the spiritual dissonance that happens when someone is connected to two emotional sources at once. And you were never meant to be part of a divided heart. You were never meant to step into a dynamic where you must fight for emotional space. You were never meant to question whether you are the priority. God is exposing why she is still there so that you can see that his emotional indecision is not a reflection of you, it is a reflection of him. You deserve a love that is single-minded, not double-minded. You deserve a love that is confident, not conflicted. You deserve a love that moves toward you, not a love that moves toward you and someone else at the same time. You deserve a love that is chosen from depth, not fear. A love that is rooted in truth, not habit. A love that stands firm, not one that wavers under pressure or history. God is making sure you understand this because he knows how deeply you love. He knows that once you attach your heart, you give fully. You give consistently. You give sincerely. And God does not want your sincerity to be poured into someone who is not fully prepared to honor it. You are being shielded from emotional exhaustion. You are being protected from giving too much of yourself to someone who has not resolved their own emotional ties. This season is not about losing him, it's about recognizing whether he is prepared to rise to the level of love you require. Whether he is capable of choosing with clarity. Whether he is ready to step away from anything that competes with what God is offering him through you. Whether he can move forward without being held hostage by emotional bonds that no longer serve his growth. And if he can, God will make it clear. If he is meant for you, this revelation will break him open, wake him up, mature him, cleanse him, and align him. If he is truly yours, he will choose you with a clarity that leaves no room for doubt. There will be no confusion, no divided loyalty, no emotional back and forth. He will release what God is telling him to release. He will stand where God is calling him to stand. He will love you with a heart that is whole, not a heart that is split. But if he cannot step into that alignment, if he cannot make the choices God is requiring of him, then God will not allow you to be entangled in someone else's spiritual delay. God will redirect you. God will elevate you. God will bring someone who is already operating at the level of readiness your heart deserves. Someone who doesn't hesitate. Someone who doesn't compare. Someone who doesn't juggle options. Someone who recognizes you instantly as the blessing you are. Someone who meets your love with the same intensity, purity, and commitment. This exposure is an answer to your prayer, even if it feels uncomfortable. Because you did not pray for comfort, you prayed for truth. And truth often comes wrapped in revelation, not reassurance. Truth is sometimes sharp, but it is always freeing. Truth may feel heavy for a moment, but it lifts the weight you've been carrying for months. Truth may sting, but it saves. You are not losing anything. You are gaining direction. You are gaining spiritual clarity. You are gaining self-worth. You are gaining room in your heart for the love God is preparing to send your way. And whether that love is him transformed, or someone completely new, God will lead you clearly. This is the God begins to settle your soul, where the questions that have circled your heart finally start to soften, where the answers you were afraid to face become the very peace you've been praying for. You've walked through months of uncertainty, through the quiet ache of wondering why she was still present, through moments of confusion that made you question your own intuition. But now God is closing this chapter with clarity, not chaos. He is sealing this season with truth, not tension. He is bringing you into a space where you no longer have to analyze every small sign, every shift in his behavior, every silence that used to worry you. You are stepping into a moment where God is lifting the emotional fog from your eyes for good. Love doesn't hide. And what God is showing you now is that your heart was never meant to exist in shadows. You were never meant to be half-loved. You were never meant to be someone's second choice. You were never meant to wait quietly on the sidelines while someone else made up their mind. You were never meant to hold your breath for someone who wasn't willing to breathe truth into the connection. The reason God exposed why she was still there was not to shatter your hopes, but to realign them. Not to break you, but to rebuild you. Not to discourage you, but to elevate your understanding of what you deserve. You have reached a spiritual threshold. You are different now. You feel things differently. You see things differently. You understand your worth differently. What used to confuse you no longer holds the same power over you. What used to make you anxious no longer melts your confidence. What used to make you question yourself now makes you question the situation instead, because you have finally realized that the issue was never you, it was never your value, it was never your effort, it was the emotional imbalance of someone who hadn't chosen their direction yet. And God is refusing to let you build your future around someone who can't build a stable present. There is a love God has written for you that doesn't require guessing, doesn't require waiting, doesn't require competing. A love that will not require God to expose anything, because the person meant for you will stand in truth naturally. Their heart will be transparent, their intentions clear, their loyalty consistent. You will not have to interpret mixed signals because there will be none. You will not have to fear losing them because they will show you daily that they are not going anywhere. You will not have to wonder about their past because they will be too focused on building a future with you. The love God has for you doesn't come with confusion, it comes with alignment. This closing season is not about him and her, it is about you and God. It is about the way God has been reshaping your perception of love. Teaching you to recognize real love from emotional familiarity, guiding you to trust your spirit over your fears. You are learning that peace is a sign, not passion. You are learning that clarity is a sign, not chaos. You are learning that love strengthens you, not drains you. And because you've learned these truths, God is now preparing your heart for a love that mirrors His character, steady, whole, intentional, protective. You may feel a quiet heaviness as this clarity settles, but that heaviness is not sorrow, it is release. You are releasing illusions, releasing hopes that were built on uncertainty, releasing attachments to someone who may not have been ready for the depth of love you carry. And release always feels tender at first. But soon, it becomes freedom. Soon, it becomes relief. Soon, it becomes a doorway to something purer, clearer, stronger. God is telling you that the truth you received in this season will protect you in the next. You will not make the same emotional sacrifices again. You will not ignore your intuition again. You will not lower your standards to accommodate someone's indecision again. You will not romanticize mixed signals again. You will not settle for the bare minimum again. This exposure has strengthened you, matured you, awakened you. You are stepping forward with eyes wide open, with a heart protected by wisdom, and with a spirit that refuses to settle for anything less than God's best. And if He is meant for you, He will rise. He will grow. He will confront what God exposed. He will let go of what God is asking him to release. He will choose you without hesitation. When a man is truly connected to you by divine alignment, confusion cannot compete. When a man's spirit recognizes you, hesitation ends. And if he is truly written into your story, this exposure will be the turning point that wakes him from the emotional limbo he's been trapped in. Clarity will take over. Courage will appear. His heart will finally choose with conviction, but if he is not meant for you, God will not let you remain entangled in someone else's delayed decision. He will guide you forward gently, opening doors you didn't expect, aligning you with someone who shows up without being asked, someone who chooses you without being pushed, someone who values you without being reminded. Someone who looks at you and instantly knows what he wants, because he has already done the spiritual work required to stand beside someone like you. You are not ending this season broken, you are ending it wiser, clearer, stronger, more grounded in your worth. You are not walking away empty, you are walking away full of understanding. And you are not losing love, you are making space for the love God has been preparing behind the scenes. What felt like uncertainty was actually protection. What felt like delay was actually redirection. What felt like emotional turbulence was actually the shaking loose of everything that could not go with you into your destiny. You are stepping into a new spiritual atmosphere where your heart will be met, not questioned. Where your love will be honored, not taken advantage of. Where your presence will be cherished, not compared. Where your soul will be understood, not overlooked. Where your future will be built, not delayed. This is the final truth God wants you to understand. The love you are praying for is already on its way. And what God removes now, He removes to make room for what will never leave.